All right, Nick, let's talk about one of our favorite teams to talk about, the Oregon Ducks and Dan Lanning. They always do a lot of great things in the offseason. We're really excited to see how those moves start to pay off. And this is coming up spring practice. We're looking at potential breakout players and guys who are already starting to make a name for themselves in spring practice. And we have one player in particular coming off, not a new guy. He was there last year. Coming into this year might be his best year yet. Let's get into the tweet and we'll talk about it more on the other side. This is from on X, and this is Zachary Neal, guy from Ducks Wire, one of the lead writers over on Ducks Wire. Very good article if you're a Oregon fan. It says Oregon OC Will Stein on Jurion Dickey. He looks like the player that we all anticipated he would look like. I love that kid. He's worked his tail off to get in good shape and go out and produce for us. The sky is the limit for him. Nick, I think this shows that Dickey has taken a little bit of inflection. He's gone out, looked into himself and tried to get better over the offseason, coming back to spring practice. We're already starting to see some glimpses of what Oregon thought he could be. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this one. But Oregon fans, in the comment section below, spring practice has started. We're approaching the spring game here not too long from now. What position groups are you looking to break out in spring practice this year? Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this latest potential breakout candidate for Oregon?
Well, so first of all, if Dickey's looking like the player they thought he was going to be, that's obviously a great sign because this guy was an incredible prospect. According to 24/7 Sports, he was obviously a five-star guy. Number 18 player in the country, number 3 player in the state of California. So he's obviously an elite level prospect. So if he's looking even close to that, that's obviously a great sign. But he obviously did not have a great freshman season. But it's important to understand, right? And I think this is one of the things we forget about these players is that they can dominate, be an elite athlete at the high school level. But sometimes it takes time to get acclimated to college. This was not an early enrollee, one of those prospects that signs and then enrolls in January, February. He enrolled over the summer, which means he was a little late to the game. He didn't go through spring ball last year the way some other freshmen would in other programs across the country and at Oregon as well. So he was kind of a little late to the fold. And here's the other thing to understand. Oregon was really, really good and really, really veteran laden last year at talent at a lot of positions. Dan Lanning and Stein, the OC there, they weren't going to make wholesale changes just to accommodate Dickey. And so it's important to understand that sometimes these players, if they're on a veteran team, if they're on a really good team, if they're freshmen, they kind of get buried on the depth chart if they're a little slow to just get acclimated. And that's fine. It happens all of the time. We kind of expect these 5 stars to come into the fold and just completely tear it up the first Saturday they play. That's just not reality. It takes time to physically mature. We're dealing with kids here. We're dealing with 17, 18-year-old kids, right? They're still physically maturing, going through an elite college weight room, going through an elite college program's practice. So getting a whole season of that under his belt, getting through a winter strength and conditioning program to bulk up to refine his speed and athleticism. Now we show only up to spring ball and impressing people. That's a great sign going forward. I always say the biggest leap you'll ever see in a player is his first season. His first season in terms of being involved in the practice, if he's redshirted, that's an exception. But his first season involved in going through the motions of day-to-day with the program and then to spring ball, right? That leap right there is always going to be big and critical for a player if he's going to become a star. It's a great sign that Dickey is making that leap because he has all the tools to become one of the elite playmakers, not just in Oregon, not just in the Big Ten, but in the country.
Yeah, Nick, and I think this landscape is really kind of shaping out for a guy like Dickey because there's a lot of great receivers from this Oregon team last year. They're going to be moving on to the next level this year. Kind of opens up the ranks and lets new guys come in and kind of spread their wings, a little Ducks pun there. But I think Dickey is a guy that can come in and, like you said, we don't know what he's like as a player. He could be phenomenal as far as his ability to transfer to college because he didn't do a whole lot last year. He really only had one catch in one game. So I think him coming in, this could be the wake-up call. And from the comments I'm hearing about a guy like Dickey, it sounds like it was a wake-up call. He might have expected to come in last year and dominate and be the best new phenom wide receiver in all of college football. That obviously didn't happen. He introspected on himself. He worked hard. And now he's back to, like you alluded to, the player that they thought that he was. I expect Dickey to come into the season revitalized, focused on being the best wide receiver he can be and come in and be a big time contributor for this Ducks offense because, like you said, he was one of the best recruits in all of college football coming in last season. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player for them. He has the build. He's 6'3", 210, so he's big, he's fast, he's able to make all the catches. I just think this is a guy who needed a little bit of a kick in the butt, and not playing too much last year was perfect, the exact thing that he needed. I think Oregon has handled his career so far very well, and I think he's going to come out firing in his sophomore season for the Ducks, and I'm really excited to see what he can put on paper.